basically the purpose of this demo is to show you guys 16.0, the new Allscripts PM. We're going to be going live in the middle of May, and we're going to be offering in-person training sessions here at the Olivis Park building, either the end of April or the first week of May. So I'll go ahead and send invites to everybody when that's appropriate. But it's just going to be a quick demo to show you the new PM and to give you just a visual of what it's going to be like. And then come training time, you're going to get an in-depth discussion about the differences between 10 to the version now, which is 16. Okay. Okay. So here you could see the new login for the Allscripts PM. If I put in my username and password, let's pretend that I forgot my password. You're going to notice now that there's a forget password button. So the forget password button, the users are basically given the ability to reset their own password. What's going to happen is the Allscripts team is going to send out temporary passwords a few days, or actually the day of go live, where you're going to be given your temporary password. You have to reset your password, and then you basically set up 5 security questions for you to reset your own password in the PM, in the new PM. Another thing that you're going to notice here on this screen is a tenant feature. So what happens is if you have access to more than one org in Allscripts PM currently, you would know that you would have a username and password for each of those orgs. But in the new PM, you're going to be able to log in to any of the PM orgs with one login. So let's go ahead and show that here. So I'm logging in. It's going to go to the default site that I go to. And then here at the very top, I can go ahead and switch between the PM orgs that I might have access to. If you don't have access to any other orgs, you're just going to see Community Memorial Hospital for the CFH people on this call. Okay. So what you're going to notice is that it is a more green layout for the new PM. Everything's pretty much in the same areas, but we'll go into more detail about what specifically different buttons look like, the new functionality within each of these folders. We'll go over that more during our actual in-depth training session here at the Olivis Park building. Okay. So for this demo, again, it's going to be a short one. I'm going to show you some of the key features that changed in version 16 that they've added to this specific version of PM. So one of them is the birth date enhancement. So as we know, for billing purposes, the subscriber information is required, subscriber birth date. Currently, we don't have it as a required field, but here in the Policies tab, I can go ahead and make the subscriber's birth date mandatory. That's one of the features that we have in the new 16. Another one is new marital and gender values. So one of the values that we've added is unknown under gender and partner under marital. Insurance verification date. So whenever a front desk person comes into the PM and does eligibility for the next day or 2 days out, they can go ahead and come into the patient's chart and put when exactly they verified it. So then once they've added it to this section here in the PM, we can go in the summary tab and we can see exactly when that person put in verified that the person is eligible under their insurance. This is a manual process, so if you run eligibility 2 days prior, you're going to still have to come in here if you want to use this feature and enter in this date manually here in the Policies tab under Verify Date. expanded patient relationships. In the PM section under account, when you choose another person, maybe an emergency contact, or another person, maybe the subscriber of the insurance, relation to patient, currently there's only a few options, but it's going to be expanded with a few more options. I don't have the list on hand, but there's going to be a few more options here other than spouse, child. There's going to be other expanded patient relationships in that section. One of the scheduling enhancements that we have in the new PM, so currently, if you were to go into appointment scheduling and go into the appointment book, this is usually how big the appointment book is, standard. But now, if you expand the entire screen for the new PM, and we do something like Community Memorial Hospital at Meek, you actually get to use the entire screen space inside of PM. The same thing goes for the financial inquiry screen. You're going to notice that you can actually use the entire screen space instead of having something that actually ends right here.
Thank you. Yeah.
Another feature that we have in terms of scheduling is the Today button. So now you're going to notice, before in the PM that we currently use, there is no Today button here in PM. So what happens is if you were to change this date to go to, let's say, April 7th, and then you wanted to come back to today's date, you have to bring back and go to March 31st, but instead you'll just have to press Today, and it'll bring you there both in the Appointment Management tab, you can click on Today, or in the Appointment Book. Another thing that we have in the PM is Maintain Original Encounter. So what happens right now in the PM that we currently work out of, if you reschedule a patient, you actually assign a new encounter number to that patient. With the new PM, you'll be able to maintain the original encounter number whenever a patient is rescheduled. Another great feature that we have is the ability to reverse a canceled appointment. So if the patient is canceled on today's schedule by mistake, or perhaps they called and they said that they actually can come to the office that day, you can change back from canceled to scheduled, where you currently could not do that in RPM. We talked about the appointment grid. Retaining confirmation results. So currently, once a patient is acknowledged, no-showed, or canceled, the confirmation result that comes from I Remind disappears. You can see here in the screenshot, the call confirmation result is going to say whether the patient is acknowledged, no-showed, or canceled off of the appointment management screen. In terms of eligibility, the eligibility screen is going to look a little bit different. Again, we'll go over this in a little more detail when we have our training before we go live. From this feature, though, you will get more information underneath each of the plus signs for subscriber eligibility benefit information. But we'll go over a little bit more towards our go live date. Okay. Note enhancements for the new PM. So if I were to go to notes inside of a specific patient, we're going to have a new section here for date and time last modified, so we can track when exactly a note was modified for a patient. Currently in our PM system, when a note is expired, so you don't want it to pop up anymore whenever someone accesses the patient's account, you would expire it, and then it wouldn't disappear from the patient's account until the next day, or when it hits midnight of that day. But in the new PM, as soon as you expire it, it falls off the patient's account immediately. The editable procedure code description. So I have a few more features, but that's more for the billing side of the PM. Let me go ahead and unmute everybody. Give me 1 second. Okay, does anyone have any questions? This is just a brief overview of some of the features that were added to the 16 release.
Hi, this is Diana Rosa. I just have a quick question. We came in a little late. When is it going to become effective, this new upgrade?
So you come in, so basically we go live in the middle of May, but the managers are going to get an invitation either the last week of April or the first week of May to have their front desk staff and the managers come to the Olivis Park building for training.
Very good. Thank you.
Yep, no problem.